teach.com. And if you like this video, don't forget to smash the like button and share this video with as many people as you can. And if you're not subscribed to my channel yet, kindly do it so that you don't miss any of my videos. So without any delay, let's get started. And today we are gonna learn about iterators in Java. Right. We are gonna learn about iterators in Java, and without any delay, let's get started. Damn. Okay. So to follow me up in this tutorial, you need to know about array lists in Java, right? I have a complete video on array lists in Java, so you can check that out, right? I made it a few days ago only. And then today we are gonna learn about iterators. So first of all, we'll see what an iterator is. An iterator is an object, right? So it is an object that can be used to loop through collections, right? So it is an object that we can use to loop through our collections, like array list and hash set, right? So like array list and hash set, right? I have also I have I also have a video on hash sets, so you can check that out also, right? It is called an iterator because iterating is the technical term for looping that you must be knowing, right? So first of all, we'll just see how to get an iterator, right? We'll just start with the basic code. So over here we are importing array list, then we are importing the our iterator class from the java.util package. So it is in the java.util package and we are importing it from there, right? Then we are creating a public class main, then we have a public static method, right? So over here this is the static method, our main method basically, right? And in this we are creating an array list object that is scarce, that will contain string data type, string object data type, string object values right? And then we'll add the four objects that will be there in our array list, right? And then what we are doing iterator, right? Then we have to give the less than sign, then we have to give the data type values that will be there in our iterator, that we'll find in an iterator, in our iterator. And then we need to give the greater than sign to close it. Then we need to name the iterator object, and then equals to cars.iterator. So whatever collection, basically uh, uh, every collection has basically an iterator method, like the array list or the hash set, right? Array list or hash set. So every collection has an iterator method, right? That creates, and basically it returns an iterator object that basically returns an iterator object. And then we are saving it in our iterator object, right? So basically it returns us an iterator object where we are saving an that we are saving it that we are saving in it, the variable it, that will contain an object of the iterator class, right? So car.iterator will give us an iterator object with all its items, right? And then we are doing system.out.println it.next, right? So basically uh, in our iterator object, whenever we call the next method on our iterator object, if we are calling it for the first time, we'll get the first item. Next time we call the next method, we'll get the second item, right? And that's how we can loop through our iterator object. For example, I'll just give you an example. You have an iterator object, right? And what you can do while uh looping is next. Okay, so we'll just see looping, right? But over here, this is the next method that will bring the next item in the iterator. If you're calling it for the first time, you'll get the first item. If you're calling it like afterwards, after the first item, the first if you're calling then second time the next method, then it will bring the second item, and so on till contains items, right? So over here we'll get Volvo because we are calling next method for the first time, and whenever we call it first time, we'll get the first item of our collection. So over here we are getting Volvo. Quite cool. Now we are on looping through a collection using an iterator. Now we'll see how to loop through a collection using our iterator, right? So over here we have our array list object, right, and we are adding items, and then we have our it object in which we are on then equals its value is cars.iterator that returns us an iterator object that we are saving in this iterator object, right? And then this iterator object that we are saving in it, that also has a method has next. What this has next returns us, it returns us true and false, true or false. For example, you have 0 items in your array list collection, right? Array list collection, and then you do it.has next, it will return you false because there is no first item in it. And for example, you have 2 items, then you'll do, for the first time you'll do you will just run the next method and you'll just do it.has next, so it has the second item, right? Then you'll run the next method and then you'll do it.has next, so it will check if there's a third item in your array list, but there won't be a third item, that's why it will give you false. So we are doing while it.has next, while the has next method is giving us true. Basically, giving true represents that there is another item, right? There's another item. So while it.has next, so like the next value for the first time is the first value, so there is the first value in our array list. So what, we'll go in the while loop and we are printing out it.next. It.next will give us the first value, right? And then it will again check it.has next, so it has a next value that is BMW, so it will print out BMW, right? Then it will check that if there is a next item that is Ford, it is checking if there is the next item after BMW, is there item after BMW, and there is, so it is printing out that item. And then it is checking that if there's an item after Ford, so there is, and that's why it is printing that Mazda. And then it is checking if there is an item after Mazda, but no, there is no item after Mazda, that's why it will just break out of the loop, right? So we'll get Volvo, BMW, Ford, and then Mazda, right? So we're getting Volvo, BMW, Ford, and Mazda. Quite cool. Now we are on removing items from a collection using iterators. Now we'll see how to remove items from a basically from a collection using the iterator. So we are importing them. We are creating an array list, right? We have created our array list numbers, and then we are adding some numbers. So it will contain number values, right? So it will have number values, right? And then we are doing iterator integer. We are creating an iterator object that will contain integer values, right? And then what we are doing, we are using the while loop. We're checking if it has next. So I have told you the concept of has next. What it will do, for every item in our iterator, it will just create an integer I that will save the next value, right? So for first time it will save the first value, then the second value, then the third value, then the fourth value, right? And so on. Okay. And then it will check if I is less than 10. So if that value, that is the next value, right, if it is less than 10, it will remove that item, right? And then it will print it will do that again and again, and when it finishes the loop, it will just come out and print out numbers. So we'll get 12 and 23 because 8 and 2 are basically um, less than 10. So we are getting 12 and 23 when we are printing out numbers or array list, right? Quite cool. But now we are gonna see, this is where we know why to use iterators. Why? I'll just tell you. Look, when you remove items using a for loop, what it does, it basically leads to issues, right? It basically leads to issues. Why it leads to issues? Because we are looping on the same thing. We are looping on the same I array list, right? So when we are doing using a normal for loop, we are looping on the same array list, and in the same array list size is also changing. So we are looping on the array list, and in the for loop the size is changing, and that can cause errors. I'll first of all show you the result. So over here we have our main class, our main method, and then we have an array list. Then we are looping on our array list, right? And we are just checking if that number that is there in the array list is less than 10, then remove. So you must be expecting some normal result, right? 12 and 23, right? Let's see what you will get. What you'll get is 12, 2 and 23. Let me tell you why. So over here we have an array list. We are looping on it. Int I equals 0, I less than numbers dot size, I plus plus, right? So numbers dot size is 4, and it will just I will first be 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, right? And then it is checking if numbers dot get I. So we are bringing the first the 0, then the first, then the second, then the third element, and if that element is less than 10, so the first element is not less than 10, so it will do nothing. Continue. I equals 1, it will check the second element is less than 10. The second element is less than 10, so it will remove that element. Now what happens? Now 8 is removed. That's why 2 has come to 8's spot, right? And it will just go back into the loop, and it will increment the value of I, right? It will just increment the value of I from 1 to 2, because that's how the loop works, right? And because that's how the loop works, that's why when it is 2, the 2 will be this 23, because now 8 will be removed from this loop. This loop will remove 8, right? This loop will remove 8, and then 2 will take 8 spot, right? And after removing 8, it will just the loop will go back on the top, increment the value, and that value will be the index to the next value. That's why and like that we are not checking for 2 only, right? We are not checking that if 2 is also smaller than 10, right? This is the issues that are caused with for each and for loops, right? But that's why that's because of these issues, Java has created an iterator class through which we'll not get these issues, right? Right? And because these for each and for loops create these issues, Java has created the iterator class so that we don't face the issues. So thank you guys. If you like this video, don't forget to smash the like button and share this video with as many people as you can. And if you're not subscribed to my channel yet, kindly do it so that you don't miss any of my videos. Thank you guys. Bye. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep watching my videos. Damn.